Okay, Adrian. I just decided to kind of look over the game and see, what I could glean from it. So I did skim over, kind of looked over some of these few moments here, the bookmarks you had. Love these, by the way. I love using the bookmarks. Um, and a few things I saw is I think, kind of maybe a misunderstanding or misidentifying like how we want to play the first few waves or how we can play the first few waves. So big things. Oops, sorry, that's all my Sinnoh stuff. Big things I think you want to maintain HP. That may be like the most important one. And then there's also when you have push, like when you have established the push, you don't want to over push because things can get really awkward, especially in these melee versus melee matchups. You don't want the wave to get on their side, which is what ended up happening here. So preserve HP and try to get push. You do want to get push, but you don't want to over push. That's really important in really any lane, but it's just especially awkward here. So I like that we get push control. This is fine. This is pretty good. I guess they have a ward in here. I actually want to see, did we ward immediately or were we late? Ooh, okay. So if you're gonna do this, like just ward the bush, okay? Because what ends up happening is they can ward. And so now you don't know that you're on a ward, and I'm pretty sure he knows because he probably put a ward in here. So I know some coaches say to maybe not ward or avoid warding. There's some situations you don't have to ward, but you can do it every game and it'd be fine. So I'm an advocate for that. Because what ends up happening is we just lose, you both get chunked by a Q. Maybe it was blind, but still it's, you can at least know if you're on vision or not if you just sprint to that bush and ward it. So that's number one. Number two, so we're fighting for push. This is good. Wait, why are we just stuck here? Okay, we're just autoing. Samira's attack speed is just slow as fuck. But when we walk up here, we just eat an auto and a Q for kind of no particular reason. So that sucks. So we don't have to do that. We can just... I mean, if you're wanting to melee Q, then melee Q to AoE, but we don't do that. So we're just kind of walking up into melee range for no particular reason, from what I can tell. So this is fine. You have like an HP lead. You can be whacking if you're trying to bait out the Q. That's one thing, but we just eat a lot of damage for free. And then from this point, you have established push. Like you're up one minion. You no longer have to be aggressively pushing. Even finishing off this caster, like we didn't have to do that yet. But we're still like hitting, letting him get poked. So what ends up happening here is because this minion dies, the wave meets closer to their turrets, and it just gets really awkward. And it's just really awkward whenever the wave is over here. So I think the solve for this, or the thing that you want to consider, is number one, preserve HP. So that's like the big one. So we're gonna put preserve HP as the number one. Yeah, okay, sorry, this is just being dumb. Preserve HP, and then don't over push the first wave. Because like you can't get it to crash, so it's not going to meet in neutral. So if you just start by building an advantage, like right here, you have an advantage, this minion will die sooner. And then if Corky starts hitting your backline, you can match his autos, but you don't have to like keep aggressively autoing. So once you have that advantage, you can just stop hitting the wave and perhaps push them off because you're threatening level 2. Like right now, you're not really threatening anything because you're a level 1 Samira. You're not getting level 2 anytime soon. So you want to kind of keep the wave here in the middle, if at all possible. And then you can that opens up the option to either slow push or crash the second wave if you do this, you can either crash the second wave, or if you do it properly, you can even slow push the third wave. Or I guess, or slow push second wave into crash the third wave. So that's what you can do. It is difficult to do this. It's not always reliable, but if you get a lead early enough in the lane and then don't over push it, that you can do this, and it's very effective. You can open yourself up to a early recall, and then the wave will be pushing back to you. Let me pull out the fuck is the epic pin. So it's like you crash the third wave, and then the wave pushes back to you, and then you can hold it on your side and essentially do what they did to you. God damn it, I'm not good at epic pin. Because what ends up happening is it's just outside their turret, and this is like the most uncomfortable position to be against a Leona, right? Like this is terrible. This is nightmare fuel, and it's just like, how do we play? So we end up losing a lot of HP. Diego comes down here because I guess he skipped some camps. Well played to him, but this was possible because we lost so much HP and mismanaged our wave. So the wave management kind of, the mismanaging the wave kind of led us to losing HP, and which ends up opening us up to this gank. So I think that's the biggest thing that went wrong in this matchup. In the hypothetical world where we don't overpush the wave, we don't eat the damage early on, and if you either slow crash the second wave or even the third wave if possible, that just makes things, you're playing a different game. So that's the most important thing I would take away from this. I think that is the big thing. Like this right here, this stuff right here is the big stuff. So we'll look at the other deaths here and kind of see what was going on, because it's not like the game's over from that point. We'll just see what happens here. How do we lose HP here? Hold up. We just down some HP. It looks like Corki did Corki things to us. So even from this position, like I want to preserve HP. So, I would rather see you Q this minion or even drop the minion and not put yourself in a position to get Corki Q'd, because losing 64 health, that sucks. So no bueno. So don't be aware of their abilities. You still want to preserve HP. So we'll kind of see how we play out these next few moments here. We're fishing for hooks. That's fine. Run some damage. It's good that you keep your distance here. I don't think it changes the outcome of the fight, but right now y'all's target is Leona. Unless Thresh lands a hook on this Corki here, Leona's your target. So we're hitting Leona, and then we just kind of start autoing Corki and queuing Corki, which doesn't really accomplish anything. So, I mean, the fight's a little cooked from the get-go, but in a situation like that, you just kind of have to focus the guy that you've been focusing. You don't have the damage to like switch targets all of a sudden and go from there. So that's one thing there. What's this next bookmark? I love these bookmarks, man. It's so good. Oh, we got to fight here. Okay. Good follow up on the flay. I like that you peel back here. I think Thresh in this instance, like I don't think this is your fault. Thresh kind of overcommits. But the thing you can do to influence this is tell your Thresh you don't want to fight. So if you see the wave position, like you have the wave's coming to you. So we shouldn't really be looking for a fight unless like our jungler was here, but he's recalling on mid wave. So we don't want to commit to a fight right now because it's just not a good time to fight. And by kind of committing here and not pinging back, we're telling our Thresh we're okay with fighting. And instead we should be, again, the follow-up on this was fine, but we need to be ready to disengage and go the other way. So back pinging him, walking back, taking like a back step is how I would do that. So we're just kind of clicking forward. So I would, once you see Leona clicking back here, we need to click backwards to tell our Thresh we're done, and then he lands Thresh is like, he's getting gassed up. Like you're gassing him up like, yeah, let's go. And then he lands the hook and you're both like, let's go. And unfortunately he gets fucked for it. And we have to recall and we lose this giant wave here. So it was just not the time to fight. It's like when the wave's pushing into you in general, you just kind of want to identify like, it's not the time to fight unless it's just an obviously winning 2v2. But in this case, it's not an obviously winning 2v2. Y'all don't have the damage to burst these guys. So there's that. And then let's look here at our next fight. So we're crashing a wave. Oh. Yeah, I think we just walk into Leona range. Yeah, I think we just kind of got to respect the fact that Leona can walk up in QS. We don't have the privilege of walking into Corki. Good on her for blocking the lantern. I'm kind of impressed. I feel like I'm bad at doing that. So good on her. But yeah, we just maybe it's like a threat assessment thing, but it's just there's a Leona right here. She's gonna walk up and stun you, even though she's looking at this guy. Like if you walk into Corki, he's gonna walk into you and just make your day miserable, and then you're getting 1v2'd. So just got to keep your distance. We're not ready to fight. Maybe once Rengar gets closer, then you can walk up, but too early to make a move like that. And then let's look at this last bookmark. Just kind of see what's going on here. I know you said it was like levels 2 through 6 that things happened on, but we'll look at this last one. Oh. I see. I can see... That's tough. I'm not sure what... I know that your teammates are close by. You probably have to... I'm assuming you know that your teammates are nearby and you're like trying to bait something, which I get. I do stuff like that a lot. If that's the case, we need to be kiting to our Thresh because he's the one who can actually help us. I don't think Rengar is going to help us much here. He could have lanterned you before you even walk up. But again, it's not really, I don't think we need to bait this hard with our body. And if we do, we need to kite to our Thresh. Again, I think the biggest juice, the big juicy stuff that can make or break a matchup like this is how we play the first few waves. Yeah, the last few fights, they were relevant, but I would definitely keep these in mind. Like, contesting the wave is good. Don't overpush the first wave. And then that gives you the option to either crash the second wave or slow push the second wave into crashing the third wave. And then you can get vision, you can recall and get like a longsword refill maybe if you have the money for it. You just have some options. So I would definitely, that would be my big takeaway from this. So if you got any questions, definitely let me know.